my presentation would be just a reflection. I'm going to show you something that maybe you already know, maybe not. In library and information science, we should be more aware of these topics, but just try to think on doctoral dissertations at any discipline or in your specific case, no? And this is just a reflection. I don't have the answer to this question. I think we are still far, and I would like to hear your opinion, your point of view. So about me, I have just selected some information from the webpage of our university. I work at the Library and Information Science Department at the University Carlos III de Madrid, or in English of Madrid, I don't know. I have finished my PhD quite recently, I could say, in 2010, so this is a topic that is close to me. So, I start by taking the definition of thesis dissertations, because I'm not going to talk about the process of doing the dissertation, the process of research, but the document, the thesis and the dissertations as a document. So look at the current definitions of dissertation and thesis. You know that they are these two terms are sometimes used for doctoral dissertations, but in other countries they use thesis, doctoral thesis. So I use both here. But look at the two definitions they put. They are talking about writing, document, and also about something that is important to you as students, as PhD students or master students, that is a requirement for your degree, but it's many other things. For me, the important thing here is the document or the product, the research object could be. I will talk about that at the end. So, the four principal purposes of the thesis and dissertations, these are the purposes from the Middle Age, since the beginning. And right now, we could say they are more or less the same. But we have to think about that these thesis and dissertation are also ways of communication, scholarly communication. And in my opinion, they should take care of the trends, the new technologies that are applied in scholarly communication. So, do you think the concept of dissertation have changed a lot? I have taken a look at many dissertations from the early print ages, while before they were, of course, before the print, they were manuscripts, but it's more or less many things they haven't changed. And what I want to say is that right now, at our universities in Spain, and I think in Europe could be more or less the same, I would like you to tell me, we are not so far from this model. So, how were the thesis and dissertations in the 20th century? Okay, this is common knowledge for you. They were underutilized sources. They were paper. They were at the libraries. They were limited. They had limited access, so limited visibility, dissemination, and so on. But we think we have changed, but many other things haven't changed. For example, the ISO, the international standard, still defines dissertations taking into account the print model. So, okay, we have seen changes, but it is slow. Now, right now, we are talking about electronic thesis and dissertations, and what we understood by electronic thesis and dissertations. If you take a look at the definition of the National Digital Library, of thesis and dissertations, they consider both the board digital and the digitized. Okay, so paper dissertations that were in paper, and then we have converted to the web format in PDF, etc. Okay, this is okay. And also the evolution of scholarly communications, the open access repositories and digital libraries that we all know, they have increased visibility, dissemination, citation, but I'm going to skip this one. But do you think it is enough? Right now at the university, at our university, the policies tell us to do the thesis with this format. They just ask us for a front matter. After, we still have to deposit a print version at the library. We have to give a digital version, but in a physical format, a CD for the archive, I mean physical archive, and then a PDF for the digital archive, for the repository. After, we have to make the register in the SEO database and deposit at the institutional repositories. That's made by the librarians. Okay, that's very good. We have changed more or less the model. From our repository, we are harvested and we can reach the whole world through these harvesters and systems. Okay, and then everybody can take a look at our work, isn't it? But do you think it is enough? We have the access to the PDF that is granted, but can we reuse the data? Can we reuse the processes? Can we do many things that are basis of the scientific method? Of course, we will see at the end that one of the problems or one of the challenges is that depending on the discipline, it is different. Some disciplines have experiments. In social sciences, it is different, but all of us have many content apart from the PDF, apart from that Word document that we have created for our dissertation. So there is an initiative I'm sure you know about electronic thesis and dissertations, and it had started in 2000, more or less 2007, and they have already talked about the importance of documents at rich thesis that not only have the document, but all the text, but also hypertext, links, and even extra materials, multimedia, data, interactive data, and so on. This is already a real proposal. There are many initiatives, but I have tried to check that and see if I can see a rich electronic dissertation, and I haven't found that real implementation. The proposal in this guide for electronic thesis and dissertation, you have that the link. They propose to use XML in order to process, in order to obtain data from a dissertation. Different from a PDF that is static and we cannot process structured data. Okay, but I have checked this digital library, and they say they have XML documents, but at the end you only get to the PDF, and you get to a PDF like that. This is a dissertation, and a PDF like that with data that we cannot check, we cannot reproduce, we cannot process, and try and continue and continue with the science. So if you take a look at the format, PDF is still the predominant format. And these approaches are okay. We have access to many digital dissertations. That depends also on the policies and laws and so on. But these approaches are working. This comic wants to represent the importance of reproducibility, replication of experiments, or just reuse of data. So I just wanted to mention some initiatives. I would like you to to tell me if you already know or not. It should be more familiar to us as information professionals. So, for example, enhanced publications, nano publications, liquid publications, they are more or less similar models, but with many differences. And the common object is to provide publications, scholarly communication that not just provide the text, but also all of that surrounds the text and foster reproducibility and so on. So, for example, enhanced publications could be the more common one because it's here in a proposal of Driver, the network of repositories or open access repositories. So in their definition, we have an enhanced publication with 3 categories of information: research data, extra materials, past publication data. And this is important because science cannot be static. So we should be able to comment, to improve, to refute, and so on. So this data is important too, and is part of the publication of the document. So if you see the document, we have this double visualization. We have the human visualization with just text and images and so on, but behind that we need to code that. We have to structure information with standards like RDF, OIR, that makes aggregations of these components, like content, like the videos, text, audio, whatever, and in a meaningful way. So we can browse, we can make, we can discover this content, and we can annotate content, and so on. This is one model. If you want to check the Driver demonstrator here, you can see several visualizations like text, like parts, or like a graphic here. But this is just a model. It's working quite well because trying to fit not only the publication but also the repository's point of view in order to preserve all of that, and that is complicated. We have also this vision, this model of nano publication, and it's similar to, because they use RDF and so on, but think about something. Research is made using statements, concepts, and so on, that we have to translate into text, and then the readers have to understand the text and translate it again to a research environment. So if we have a nano publication, it would be just a graph, a RDF graph, with all that organized, short, and understandable by machines and by humans. Okay, so think about that, because one of the problems with informations that we are facing is amounts and loads of information and journals and articles and so on. They are too much. This is a overload of information, and we could do it like this, because the important thing of many papers of 20 pages long is just 3-5 statements. This is what another model, for example, the research object. This is quite new, and it's similar to, they use RDF, they use OIR, they use some ontologies in order to bring together all the materials. And here you have the web page they have recently published, that also they want to be linked open data, so they want to link with many other data sets. So research could be linked to research, but also with public information and many other things. And here it is important not just to access the document, not just access the data, but allow reproducibility and executability, I don't know how to pronounce that, of research. So there are many models. There are even some conferences about that. Maybe you have heard about Beyond the PDF, and there is a manifesto and so on. But I cannot see the application yet to the doctoral research and think that the thesis is a document, is a scholarly communication, and should be part of these technologies of these trends. And maybe it doesn't worth to make 300 pages long dissertations that are not easy to find and easy to reproduce and easy to continue with that research. And I have found many challenges or barriers to these models. First of all, there is no standard yet. There is not a unique universal model. So if we want to interoperate, but we have still 5, 6, 7 models, it's not working. Also, we have technical barriers. That is clear because maybe we are used to these technologies, not the average researchers in other social sciences and so on. They are not used to use semantic technologies. So we need the tools like a Word document that help us to do enhance the semantic doctoral dissertation or master thesis. Okay. We have many other problems related to the infrastructure. That's Driver is interested in that because it's much more complicated and difficult to maintain and preserve component objects like enhanced publications. So the repositories should be prepared and adapted. Also, we need an organizational environment. So the university should be aware, doctoral programs should be aware, and should empower and foster the enhanced digital dissertations. And I think the libraries, of course, should take care of these documents, so they should develop their capabilities and support and so on. We need policies too. We need mandates that, okay, we have the science law here in Spain that makes compulsory to deposit the thesis, the dissertation. So it's an open one, but open means also that it could be reused and reproduced, and we are not achieving that. Also, of course, I have mentioned the cultural problem. There are many differences among disciplines, so there are models for biological sciences with experiments and workflows and so on, and maybe for us that it's not working. And many others, of course, sociological, our barrier as humans, we are always reluctant to change. So these are some ideas that I have came about. So maybe you that are working really on your dissertation, do you have any other idea, any other challenge, or do you see the enhanced publication, the enhanced doctoral dissertation really far, or do you think this is close to you? So this is my ideas. You can, of course, agree, disagree, or